Yeah.
Alright. I'm back. So, hello everybody. This is episode 34 of Shoot the Breeze, a chill interview and a chill time all around for you and me. I'm your host, HeavyDivider, and alongside me here is a very talented gentleman at best. Very talented in his skills of modeling, as well as being a DJ, as well as basically telling you it straight as it is. So, my guest for yeah, there you go. My guest for tonight here is RobRomansVoice, but I just call him Rob for short. Welcome on in, bud.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. I will say, for the most part, like I mentioned before, hope you're doing well, especially during this whole like weather frontier we've got going on for the most part, and you're staying warm, more or less. So.
Oh heck yeah! I mean, there's a lot of people that are like more freezing right now and more cold right now. But I think with good preparation that they can handle it. I know for me, my preparation happens to be turning on my electric blanket and literally not going anywhere for the next like 2 days.
Let's get down to business with the first question on hand here. That being, how the hell did we meet?
That's a very good question, and I wish I had the answer.
It's okay, I can elaborate for you. So, first of all, how we met through Phoenix Prime, actually. And for what day it was or so, all I know it was like right at somewhere in the fall of like maybe 2018 or so. Because it was during that time on hand where basically, I think it was when you were getting your start and everything, and basically, you know, you got on like a couple times on the front like thumbnail of like Foxy's videos and everything, and it was also during that time where, I think you had like the old model of yourself or so with long hair, and then basically, so it's somewhere along that line or so. I don't know. It was the first time we actually met, bumping into each other, but after that it was like a few spurts here and there wherever we ran into each other, and then I guess over time or so we ended up becoming friends for the most part. But past that or so, that's kind of like maybe the first time on general. I can't remember how specifically it started. All I know is I just joined on Phoenix, and that's how I been into you. Nothing really too eventful from what I can remember. So
what's equally funny about the Foxy thing is like that was not because of me. I was just kind of doing my own thing. I was streaming. I was hanging out. And at the time, that's when I started to really become friends with Odin Fire and Libid, who were very, very engaged with the VRChat community at the time and when they were streaming. And it was because of Odin Fire. He was the one to clip my clips, and he sent to Foxy. And what was so peculiar was, like, I think it was either him or someone else who was saying, like Rob, you made it into a Foxy video. And I'm just like I was in the Foxy Discord too. Like I there was a section saying, put your clips here to see if you'll make it into a next thing.
Yep.
And I was like, I decided, I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I'll try to be, I don't want to be famous, but I don't want to, like, try to push myself a little bit farther. And at the time, out of 2 weeks, I ended up growing by like 250 followers or something within 2 weeks. It was a very, very fast growing period. And I was nervous because I wasn't entirely sure what was going to happen. It was like, oh, am I going to be one of those like famous looking things? It's like, oh, I'm here today, gone tomorrow kind of a thing. And it was funny because he said it like that. And he was just like, oh, I'll just put you in a Foxy video. And I'm just like, okay. And there were at least like 3 clips in that one. But yeah, at the time, now that you're saying it, it does make a little bit of sense. I know we've known each other for 2 years and going on 3 because of 2021. But with Phoenix Prime, obviously, yeah, he also, believe it or not, he paved the way for himself. He paved the way for a lot of other streamers to come on, or not even just streamers, but just people that come into VRChat in general and just get to meet people. So
yeah,
that was a long time ago, my dude.
Yeah, a long time ago on hand. But hey, if we could just look back and we'll be like, damn, how far have we come on hand? How far have we come on hand? Here we are now. We're still continuing doing what we do best. So. So, speaking of which, my second question on hand is your VRChat origins. What got you into VRChat in general?
Oh boy. I mean, again, speaking like 3 years ago, it's kind of hard to keep things in focus of, really the reason why. I will say it, and I'll try to piece it together the best way I can without going too long into it. But
no, you're all good.
in 2017, I moved to Vermont, and this was kind of my first big career move and overall move. So I didn't know anybody in Vermont. I was just going there for work and living with a really stupid roommate. But at the time, I was able to raise enough money for a PS4, and the thing about the PS4 was like, you had that technology to stream on Twitch. Now, somewhere in my travels online, I got to run into a bunch of videos on YouTube for VRChat. And at the time, I didn't really know what it was, but they were showcasing the Uganda Knuckles. And I thought those things were so funny. At the time, I didn't realize like how annoying it could possibly be. Especially nowadays, with the Uganda Knuckles. Well, not nowadays, but at the time, Uganda Knuckles, that was like the only big thing that was really pissing people off, that they were running around just clicking and being lewd, and nobody wanted that. They just wanted a wholesome experience. But you had like the first piece of lewd something that come into VRChat and really run amok. So at the time with my PS4, I realized I could stream on Twitch, so that's kind of when I started my Twitch adventure. But it wasn't until I realized that my computers could not handle VRChat that I really had to like figure it out. At the time, I had a MacBook Air, and the MacBook Air only had 2 cores, and this game requires 4 or something like that. I forgot how many cores this game could. You couldn't do it. You couldn't run this game on a Mac, and so instead of that, I actually tested it out on my work computer to see if I could play VRChat on my work computer, and it didn't work because my work computer was garbage. So it wasn't until May of 2017 when I asked my parents either for a loan, or they just ended up giving me the money for my first Power PC. Got in, and at the time, I wanted to do 2 things. One, I wanted to become a Uganda Knuckles. And I think at the time when my Power PC, I bought my I had a Vive. So I was operating on a Vive. So I decided to wait because I didn't want to go on desktop because I heard that's stupid. Nobody does that. So when I got in my Vive, and it's actually kind of it's one of my like top 10 clips on my Twitch. It's just me trying out the Knuckles for the first time, and do you know the way and all that shit. But the second one was at the time on YouTube, it was all about whoops and Team 5 and chips and nuts and Jimmy, Drek, and freaking Pokelols and Kimple, all those people. And like, so I would go to work, do my 9 to 5 like a regular individual. I'd be on Twitch as like background noise while I was working, and then when I came home, and I would make it a habit to make dinner and watch either YouTube or get on Twitch and really get to know the life of these people. And I was just so fascinated, especially with the whole chips and nuts thing, because it seemed like, it was story based. What they were doing was story based, and at the end of it all, I in my mind, I thought they were legit going to like, it was like the perfect computer marriage, like I thought Chips and Nuts were actually going to get together and date because they were acting this way on VRChat, But then when everything started to crumble and Nuts was like, I don't want anything to do with Chips, and I'm trying to look at other options and shit like that, then I realized I was just like, oh, they've been playing around this entire time, and I got drawn in even more.
Got hooked into it.
Yeah, and it's just like it sucks, and like I kind of just wanted to meet them, I kind of just wanted to come in and meet them, and at the time, in the back of my mind, this is kind of how I've always learned about this, is I'm never more popular than the next guy. I'm never more important than the next guy. And so much so that when I was working out in Vermont, I would do my full-time job on radio. And then my part-time job, I actually worked at a Denny's. I worked at a diner as a dishwasher, part-time. I didn't really need the extra money. The extra money helped. Plus, I got a discount on food, which was nice. But
nice.
no one would really like suspect an average white guy who has a full-time job in like, you know, the most popular radio station in the area, you know, washing dishes and cleaning out toilets at a diner. And then that actually led to me being a cook. So it was like, you know, it was good. It was a good time to be there because you get to learn you know, get to learn a trade. And at the time I didn't really have any friends in the area too. So like that was a plus. But like that was my intention, was to come on in here. I didn't want to act like a big shot. You know, again, you got to treat everybody equally and fair. And I was just enthralled, and I wanted them to learn what I do. You know, I want to be friends with them because they've entertained me, and I want them to understand that I can find a way to entertain them back, you know. So the idea of coming into VR chat was just it was a lot of pieces. It took a lot of time and effort. But out of hearing the entirety of 3 years worth of complaining from a lot of people in this game, there's no place I'd rather be, you know. This is a community of people that shared an ideal or ideals, and we get to use this space to communicate with those and gather bonds. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is. And I will say, for a community like this or so, you don't think about it on hand, but when you look at it, it's a really small community. And it's funny we say this because sometimes we actually bump into the exact same person we might see, depending on how long they've been here, over and over again. Now I actually got a chance to sit down and be like, you know what, we haven't talked to one another. Let's get to know each other or so. Until, you know, you finally have that moment on hand, you get a chance to. And it's funny for me to say it because I guarantee you there's some people like from the early 2017 is still here playing this game. You just got to locate them at certain points here and there. Same thing with like some of the people you bumped into when the peak of it was happening, like late 2017 into the early 2018. So it's
weird that you're saying that it's a small community as well, because you do have, especially nowadays, you have a lot of people that are watching you know, VR chat. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you rarely had someone actually stream this game. And the people that were streaming this game were making it like a whole role-playing thing. You know, I don't want people to get crossed between RP and actually saying the words role-playing. Because when they came into VR chat, they were not themselves. They were a character. Yep. Just as you know, my face and my body come from a different character that actually has a voice, that actually has things to them. At the time, they thought that was where it was at. You know, it's very rare that you'll have somebody that come in here that actually does that nowadays. 2 to 3 years ago, if you identified yourself as as Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, then you will be in this game using the voice like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. That was your identifiable feature. You know, the Beast is a very good example of that, because when he came into the game and people learned that wasn't his first avatar, I'm sure. Yeah. But people learned that his voice and his mannerisms are like-minded, like Rick from Rick and Morty. So his character was identified as the Rick. He was the Rick. So any other Rick that came in here, it was just kind of blasphemous that they were going to be this Rick. So now, so where I'm getting at with this is, you got this small community full of people, and ever since, I will say 2018, because 2017, I don't think that counts. 2017 was just people in here having a good time, building things that seemed interesting, the small community of people that would love to hang out with each other and, I don't know, go to the pub and pretend it was a bar.
Yeah, kind of like the Nags era. It was like the Nags era on hand, where they started with YouTube before it reached Twitch.
So then in 2018, I would want to think between 2018 and 2019, things started to pull apart. That reality, or that that fiction kind of got pulled apart a little bit, and reality started to hit, where it wasn't a matter of the character that was playing. It was just a matter of personality, and energy. I guess that's what would be a good idea, because if you had the energy and you had your own personality, it doesn't matter what avatar you're in. If you're running around being a knucklehead and sharing that relatability with one another, then that's what's going to be getting you the most views based off of, instead of an actual character being. I would hate to throw him under the bus because I love him so much, but I have a feeling that's where Odin Fire is starting to dip down a little bit more. Was back in the day, he can play as a 6-7-year-old fox kid who, no swearing and all that sort of stuff. But nowadays, it's just a matter of popularity. It's based off of popularity and if you're cool or not. No, I was just saying how, like, since we're still in a small community, that, like, I think a lot of people believe that we're much higher up in this simulation than what it used to be several years ago. And what I'm saying it like that is people that watch on Twitch or people that are in this community might believe that you would be the most comfortable to talk to and communicate with. Now, that's a false sense of something. If you try to get into this game and like, if you try to approach me and you try to, like, instantly push your friendship on me, it's kind of hard, because I'm just like, I don't know who the hell you are. Where'd you come from? Despite the fact that you've been watching me all this time. But this time has been a little different. We've gone from role playing to actual, like, physical, this is me, this is what I do. And I think a lot of people in VRChat do that nowadays. It's not even just a character anymore. You try to put on a character, it's just kind of like, oh, I get it, you're fake, kind of a thing.
Any kind of thing on hand. It's also, too, where I will say that when people relate to personality more on hand, they want to get to know that person better. But at certain points, too, where sometimes people can't separate, like, especially if you're a role player and you do nothing but role plays, some people can't separate that person's role play character from the actual person itself, and basically they get a little bit, too fanatic with that on hand. Where basically it becomes a little bit like the blurred lines of VRC, where sometimes people become something a little bit more different than anything else, and they don't know that there's a fine line between boundaries of what people are in here and there. So they kind of push those boundaries to where it just becomes a little bit too much, so to say. And
sure.
And it happens on hand here and there, like at certain points. But let me ask about your hobbies on hand. I put down like modeling, DJ. I also put down multiplayers because I have no idea what to play outside of this game in general. But I am kind of curious. What are your hobbies in general?
Oh, my regular people hobbies. It's actually a little farther out than a lot of people realize. When I was in high school, I did a lot of karate. I did karate and martial arts. And since going into high school, I started studying music, and that just turned my career. That was my career. I wanted to be a tuba player. I wanted to be a professional tuba player. But I also wanted to be in radio as well. And that's why I went to school for radio and for music music education, while majoring in tuba. But outside of that, I like to bowl. I'm a big fan of bowling, and I've been in several bowling sports. And as of the past 5 years, I actually am a marathon runner, and I do endurance racing, so your Spartan, Tough Mudder, Warrior Dash sort of stuff. 2017, I actually completed 3 trifectas in Spartan race, spanning 15 to 17 races out of the year. What a trifecta is 3 measures of distance: a 5K, a 10K, and a half marathon up and down a mountain. Rugged, doing obstacles, a lot of not mountain climbing, but mountain scaling and trail running. A lot of it had to do with, like, climbing rope, crawling underneath barbed wire, jumping through fire, carrying rocks up and down a mountaintop, carrying 50 pounds at a time, kind of a thing. Really, it's so hard to explain, because from a guy who, just does music, and everyone's like, oh, you're the DJ guy and whatever. I've learned through a discipline and respect and self-control earlier on in my karate career that sometimes you have to remove yourself from the situation that you're currently in and put yourself in a situation to strengthen yourself, your mind, and your body and your spirit. And outside of me being wise, everyone's like, oh, Rob, you're so wise and all that shit. Well, I mean, what's going to happen when computers fail and we have to go back to our roots in nature? And I don't know, let's just say we're in a scenario where we're on top of a mountain and it's freezing and you need to start a fire or build a shelter or find water or adjust yourself. What if you have to do medical on yourself if you're in pain or something? I guess basically if you shit in the woods, how do you clean yourself afterwards? I find those very empowering, not only for me but for the other people that do it. There was one instance of a late 50-year-old man who was a father who was really chunk. He had that Hawaiian belly to him, kind of really rounded belly, and his 3 sons were doing the 5K race with obstacles. He couldn't scale a 5-foot wall, but my God, did they push his ass over the wall, and he sat up there all triumphed, and he's like, I did it! He's like, oh man, I'm an old man, but I'm doing it. And I love seeing that, because it's like, people could be pissed off, people could be salty, people could be raging, but man, oh man, nothing beats it when you go into a battle and you come out with some battle scars and bumps and bruises and cuts, and you survive, and you survived that. That is, you learn so much on that mountain. So that's what I love to do. running and going into my wire and getting money and all that shit. But outside of that, I do play games. One of my favorite, obviously I like to play the classics. I love Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic's my favorite. I do love Kingdom Hearts a lot. I'm very good at Rock Band and Guitar Hero and all that shit. I've done tours. I've done tournaments with Guitar Hero, where I've won cash prizes for, which is really fun. Yeah, I mean, things have kind of died down a little, especially with the COVID scene. I can't really go exercise as much as I've wanted to. I know this year, if things start getting better, I am looking to lift more. I'm going to want to challenge myself to get a stronger upper body. And I've told myself that, I did take like a year and a half away from Spartan and marathon training to focus on streaming and Twitch and all that sort of stuff, which has been getting really good dividends from. But I do miss it, because I do see a lot of people running about outside when I'm going to go get food or just go to the store, and I see people jogging, and I'm just like, man, I just don't have the equipment for it right now, but I'd love to get back to it.
No, I feel you on hand. I will say you do have a nice good bit of hobbies on hand, especially mostly very much exercising, as well as being very adventurous, going where you need to go in general or so, which honestly, that tells me you're more of the adventurous type, as well as basically making sure that you're as healthy as possible, especially for wherever you want to go in life, just to be able to see it as most.
Dude, I love to travel. I love to travel. I mean, I was in Florida 2 weeks ago because we were looking for apartments. But man, I love going to the airport, going to different hotels. I love getting a car and driving around and looking at other things that, because again, you don't learn of these things until you get out of your comfort zone. As much as I don't want to travel right now because of the stupid pandemic, you don't realize how much sand is in Florida and how much no sand there is in Nice, France. They have no sand on the beach. It's all rocks. So it's interesting to me because maybe I'm setting my bar up really high, and I think that's my intention, is to set my bar really high, so whenever I have kids or grandkids, I'm gonna be like, you're gonna have to work your whole life to get over this hump here. Where I've set it, and I've got to experience so much, so it's kind of gratifying for me. I don't want to seem like a dick, but I'll be like, haha, I did all these things, and now I'm old, and
now I'm
life's
old.
Good.
Now you're gonna hear all these stories from me.
Yeah, well, that's, people hear about my stories all the time anyway.
Yeah, there you go. There you go on hand.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you about the VRChat scene right now, currently. Like, present time of where we are now, what is your current opinion about it? Like, thoughts
About
and opinion.
VRChat right now?
As of right now. Like, say, like, current like, trend or anything that's going on, like, at this particular point in time.
Oh, there's so much to talk about with VRChat, especially with, again, so many people complaining. I've never really experienced how upset people can get. But it's not just VRChat, it's social media as well. Social media is such a great influence to this. And a lot of, I'll point out all the nasty stuff first, so that way we can follow it up with some really good stuff. But
Gotcha.
the one thing that really like tickles my brain a little bit is the fact that other VR experiences, VR community experiences, are growing outside of VRChat. I don't want to say I was nervous when other people were abandoning this game to go to Neos or Chill Out VR or any of the other ones that the people have been telling me about. I actually had somebody that came up to me in game who I haven't seen since Twitchcon 2019, several months, 6 or 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
And they were literally trying to promote me to go over to this other platform based on whatever they're doing. And one of the things they were saying was, you better get in there right now, because right now, me and this other person, we are gods. We have the most friends, we have the most stuff, we have the most notoriety, we have the most everything. And I'm like, good for you, Like, if you can stream that or be in that community and be not really gods, but like leaders,
pioneers
to your community, pioneers, yeah, that's a good word, then go for it. Heck, that's really thrilling. But at this day and age, like I don't know, man. Like, it's not that I'm afraid to go over there, because I want to check it out, I'm sure. But there's nothing wrong here. They say if there's nothing wrong, don't fix it. And if there's nothing broke, don't fix it. Granted, yeah, there's some things that break in this game. And I can't believe I've had the opportunity to meet so many people that would rather return a game just because of a few bugs than enjoying the bugs that are a part of the game. If it's janky, you need to laugh. You need to be like, this is amazing. I can't believe we're experiencing this right now. It's funny as hell. Let's clip that and let's move on.
Yep.
But there's so many people that, like, I remember just recently speaking to someone once the transfer came over with the new nameplates, and they were explaining about how that other place was so much better than VRChat. And all I could say was, dude, just go. Are you looking for my
approval?
You're looking for my approval? Sorry, I'm a little slow.
No, you're all good.
You're looking for my approval to do you need my permission to go over to the other? Just leave. Goodbye. I'm not coming over either, so just have fun. And like, he's like, well, I'm not leaving here. I'm just like, well, good. Then don't leave here either. I don't know what do you want me to say? So the mass amount of people that that say stuff like that, and we have the new Oculus 2 that came out that's $300, and it's lightweight and all this other stuff. It's easy to break, sure. Some of these things, they break, obviously, with wear and tear. But you can't turn around here and tell me that this shit ain't cool, You can't sit here in front of me and say, like, I don't know where you live, but, like, I'm talking to you right now. I'm in my room right now and I'm comfy and I'm wearing pajamas right now, but like, I'm talking to you right now in real time.
There you go.
Frick, I had to I mailed a headset to somebody who you'll probably learn about in about a week. So that way he'll have the headset, you'll realize it, don't worry. I'm just not saying it because he's not saying anything right now either. So the guy at the post office was like, you say that this box is $1,000. And I was like, yeah. And he's just like, whew, man. And I'm like, well, let me tell you something. During this pandemic, we need this. We need this opportunity to be able to, you know, stay in our own spaces and communicate.
Yeah,
Got a lot of knuckleheads out there that want to continue to communicate, and they're sucking wind at it because they can't. You know, they can't go out to the supermarket and communicate. You know, we get to sit here in our own quarantine spaces and communicate like regular people, and that's where we're at right now. It's so awesome. But I will say, since starting VRChat, it has only gotten better, because these are the things that I was describing to someone the other day. I was like, look at the new VRC lens that we have, this new camera system that we have. That thing is awesome. 4K, blurred background, everything goes with it. You can get really good shots and whatever. We didn't have that several years ago, and now it'll probably take even more better pictures. And you know, again, with all the particle systems and all the cool worlds that you can interact with people and play games and things that artistically in your mind, it would only stay in your mind until you've actually put down on pieces of paper and stuff like that. You could literally build anything. You really could. And it just ticks me off with the people that do come in here to share their experiences of, like, here's another great example. This morning I saw on Twitter, people were complaining about Nintendo Direct because it's tomorrow. And there was one person on Twitter that literally said, screw Nintendo products. They're terrible. This is why I have a PS5. And I'm like, sure, maybe you out of, I don't know, 1,000 people might have the PS5. So great, good for you. But I guarantee you, you're going to have to bypass 1,000 other people that could potentially play with you so you can play by yourself. You know? Like, good. You know, that's whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not even a matter of what's better and what's worse. Obviously, if you don't have a good operating system to run this game, sure, things laggy and they're gross and you'll be a little frustrated. And then as soon as you get a good headset or a good something, you know, that's where things get to be a lot better.
Yeah. To be able to experience more.
Like, so VRChat, the experience, and this is the exact same argument that we had when VRChat Plus came out, and as since like New Year's, I guarantee you we still haven't heard anybody complain about VRChat Plus, because that ship has sailed. Nobody's complaining about VRChat Plus. You either have it or you don't. The people that have it, they're reaping benefits, sure. People that don't, it's perfectly fine. You know, you don't have to support free games. You could play this for free. It doesn't cost a dime. Plus, you get more avatars. So shut up. You get more avatars.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that. You get something for free anyway.
Yeah, more avatar spaces. Right?
Yeah, I understand it's janky. I understand. You know, there are moments where, you know, things might not go your way. You know, like in your case, you have to keep spawning back in.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's perfectly okay. You know, that's most games are gonna have flaws. Heck, you just kind of roll with the punches. But I will say that every year that I've been in here, it's getting changed for the better. It's not just a developer thing, because the developers are still learning and they're still building and they're still creating, but it's for a user-based platform that doesn't require you to, but it's recommended that you make your own materials, make your own worlds with their system. You should be proud of what you made. And the people that are complaining are just complaining about things that were made imperfect. They have the opportunity to make it perfect for themselves. But instead of taking the time and the knowledge and the passion and the drive, you are just stuck with whatever is available to you at the time. Which again is a free game. You get what you get for a free game, and they say "Ooh, well, maybe you shouldn't be giving money to the devs because they're taking lavish vacations," and be like, "Listen, if you're gonna pay for a game, if you're gonna play a game, you know, like Skyrim or something, you're gonna pay the money for your game, you know, and then the rest of the time, you know." But I think at the time too, people were complaining, being like, "Well, we gave them the money, but they didn't do anything right away." Within a week of launch of VRChat Plus, so it's just like, yeah, people are so quick for that. So I will say, VRChat is definitely gonna be part of my life for the next 2 years. Obviously, I don't think I'm going anywhere within 2 years, unless the whole game turns shit, which I doubt. But
We'll see.
who knows? You know,
Well, yeah, we'll see in time.
if it does, then we'll go to the next big thing. And if we're not there, you know, fads go in and out. So.
Yeah, it is what it is. Kind of like, that's how that's the way of the game cycle goes. Where basically, you have your release, you have your constant updates, you have a dedicated fan base or so, but sooner or later, so that game's going to shut down soon. Not this time, but basically, someday, somewhere, some year, it's going to shut down one day. But during that time, you at least enjoy the memories of what you're making, enjoy the friendships and community that you are building, as well as just basically just enjoying the time you have in this game as it keeps going.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good way to really sum it up. We're starting to get more and more people in this game, and it's going to be a little hard to balance as the years roll on, especially with gained popularity of people that are, I don't want to say famous outside this platform, but they're starting to learn that this platform is here for a reason. It's here to collaborate and communicate and relate. I think just relate.
Yep, just relate.
And this past year has been really freaking generous with outside people. It kind of reminds me, this simulator reminds me exactly what Twitch wanted to be, which is a way to relate to the people and find communities that you can relate to and then build bonds. But in my eyes as well is Twitch is used as a good service so that the fans can finally reach out to their favorite so-and-so's, favorite artist, favorite music group, favorite comedy guy, favorite draw, whatever. And in my case, I got to do that, throughout my Twitch career, not only just broadcasting, but, watching videos as well. It's an opportunity for me to give to the people that entertain me. So in this simulation, it's just that, we get to actually meet the people that share the same interests as us, and how we learned from them. That's what we like. Consider it like the Game Grumps, right?
Yep.
I'm sure everybody's seen Game Grumps on YouTube. And they're gonna come in here, and Game Grumps will come in here, and then we get to hang out with them because we've already built that trust factor with them, as well as we've melted our personalities to what they give us. We've melted their personality with us. That's kind of how friendship works, but obviously we're not friends yet. But
yeah, not yet in time.
It's a good example to be like, we get to, oh, you like Game Grumps? Oh, I like Game Grumps too, and then we kind of meld together and we build friendships. That's how that shit works. And like that's what I love about this is there will be other programs out there, other services you could be a part of, but you're just starting from zero. VRChat here, we've been building for a very, very, very long time. I would say, what was it, 7 years?
Give or take, yes. Yes, about that.
Friggin' New Year's, people in New Year's crashed with, what was it, 44,000 users?
Yeah.
All in here? That's madness.
Some of us too basically had to be stuck in the exact same room we were in just to wait out the time for when the New Year's was happening. Other times there were people who couldn't, like once they crashed and everything, they couldn't get back in at all. And they end up meeting like missing like the Eastern or Central time before they finally it was able to get back up and rolling before the Mountain Time New Year's happened. So, but yeah, I will say overall or so it has like overall or so just live in the moment for what you have right now, because chances are you never know what's going to happen later on or so. Let me ask you this question about Team Hope. Now, during that time or so, you mentioned before about like being friends with Odom and Lilith and everything, and I was gonna say, do you know the story behind Team Hope or how all this started and how this happened? Because I kind of figure this was kind of like the reminiscent that was being built underneath like near like Team Kinetic and everything before it finally became its own identity and everything.
Right. Well, for starters, I will say that Team Hope was created on a couple of foundation principles. One of them was we're a bunch of friends that stream.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That is the lowest basic thing you could probably think about Team Hope being. We're a bunch of friends that were together through our community that stream and that support each other through our streams anyway. And then as we continue to grow and members have changed and sort of stuff like that, even though if members have changed, we still can support them and we still continue to, depending on people's beliefs and whatever. But Team Hope, the actual name, was just established because Odom and Winters got together and they were looking for team names, and to their surprise, Hope was not taken on Twitch. So they nabbed it.
Oh, there you go.
They nabbed it. And from what I've heard, changing a name or whatever does take a little bit of finagling. You have to email a certain rep to make sure that it's available, and you have to go through a process and yada yada yada. So Team Hope stuck. Team Hope stuck. The RGB was from Winter's RGB. The hope symbol, the symbol of hope happens to be a dove, so it's an RGB dove. Now, going back to what you were saying with Team Kinetic, for those people that don't know, Team Kinetic, I would say was back in the day. I don't want to say that they're still a thing now because they've kind of thrown on a hiatus, and it's not a matter of they disbanded, but their ideals have changed as well. So that kind of sucks because they were such a rockin' team. Team Kinetic back in the day had about 6 to 7 members, and most of them were partner, and most of them were dancers. And what they wanted to do was they wanted to start a community of I guess the professional. I don't know. I guess if you make money for a profession, you're a professional. That's what they say.
Oh, I see.
But they took their hobbies of dancing, and they implemented it into we have full body. Again, this is way back in the day.
Yeah.
We're full body dancers in VRChat. We're all you have right now, until JJ showed up, and then the rest of the multimedia team and all the rest of these other people that can come in and actually throw down. That's what they had. Now, Team Kinetic, the best thing about them, again, with the dancing, was each of them had their own style of content. And I would, from my beginnings understanding Team Kinetic, I looked up to them because of the fact that they had this confidence to them that was so unique, and it was so radiant, and they were really good shining examples. They weren't all jerks. I will say though that it was really difficult to be friends with them, just because when you get I don't want to say a specific tier in popularity. You start drifting off into, I have numbers and blah 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 blah. But no. See, like, the difference between me and Kinetic was just the fact that I can't dance. I will say, however, that they can't dance without music, so that's kind of where my thing clicked in, where it was a matter of the sense that I was the music part. Now, I wasn't a part of Team Kinetic, but I was Team Kinetic's unofficial official DJ. So I was kind of the go-to guy when it came to performing at the parties and hanging out and having music ready and doing music and stuff like that, which was a great opportunity. I know for the past 2 TwitchCons, 2018 and 19, I did get to perform at the Team Kinetic parties. One of them was a house party, the other one was a party. And it was dope.
Yeah.
It got down to the point where everybody wanted to be there, but only a select few could actually be there. Now, the thing about Team Kinetic and the way that this is going to push into Team Hope is that with Kinetic, some of their members just, again, their ideology, their ideals strayed.
Okay.
Yeah, it just
They had a different way
it
of
moved
looking
on to
at
something
things.
else.
Yeah, I see.
One guy wanted to draw, another guy was too focused on his career and dating, and another person was kind of hyper focused on starting their own group, and another person straight away just solely based off popularity, and it just started to flatten out. And the troublesome part about that is that the support for Team Kinetic wanted to continue doing something to help promote other people, while also kind of providing services for Kinetic. And Kinetic at the time, they had the brand, and they had get the T-shirt, get the thing, and get the party, come to the party.
Yeah.
So that it was a very choppy merge. Not everyone from Team Kinetic came over to Hope, and not everyone in Hope identified them as Team Kinetic Light. It's that wasn't a thing. But the way Team Hope was being generated was, it's just exclusively off that we're not here to be show-offs, and we're not here to explain to everyone that we're streamers, because there are a few people on Team Hope that don't stream, and some of them stream not as often, and some of them really don't want to be a part of the moonlight, the sunlight. They don't want to be. They want to be in the distant for this.
I get you.
A shame, but like you promote yourself the way that you want to. But the idea of Team Hope was just that was, we want to provide an experience that provided a sense of reality and a sense that you don't have to be the brightest shining star amongst your peers. As long as you all shine together, then it's we're all famous. It's not a matter of just, this guy's famous. And that was really cool about what Team Hope was all about. Now, as far as me getting into Team Hope, that story kind of just showed up at my doorstep while I was DJing the Kinetic party. But was literally there, and he was drinking, and I was drinking, and I was like, hey, congratulations on putting together a team. He's like, no, Rob, you can be part of it if you want. And me personally, I kind of had to go through my own little, not rite of passage, but I had to go through my own mind, because clearly within myself I have the two-tone army, and the two-tone army, I was afraid that if I were to label myself as a team member, that I would be selling out, or I would be like, oh, what happened to the two-tone army? It's gone. Nah, man, two-tone army is just we're allies with Team Hope,
Yep, a giant
yeah,
community.
we're here to,
Like a personal community of yours.
yeah, we're here to join together and not be too distant on that sort of thing. And things can happen, Hope can dismember, and we can be on our own little thing. But at the end of the day, we have to hold the ideals back to the way that they were, which was, we're just a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
We're a group of friends that we also stream, and we also like to help support each other. And that's the way it is, Again, with the fallout of some members, with the gaining access to some other members.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be. That shouldn't deter, That shouldn't deter the fact that I won't watch them because I like them, unless they really did me wrong and they did my friends wrong. Then we got a problem. But like that I don't see that ever becoming a thing. So, being in Team Hope 2 has been quite the time in the experience, just for the fact of like, there, excuse my pun, but there's a high hope for good things within the team, and they deliver hope to people that may be struggling in their regular life. I think all the members of Team Hope offer, when they're streaming or when they're not streaming and they're hanging out in VRChat or anywhere else, they offer a sense of distraction from other people's realities, other people's problems. Not saying that we're the ultimate answer to people's problems. I mean, I got my own problems myself, but like, you know, we're more optimistic than we are pessimistic. So, I think at the time, and I think still now, it's a little hard to identify. I mean, to be completely honest, a lot of the members have shifted their focus as well. I'm not sure how long we're going to continue to shift focus, but you know, I think a lot of us in the team are just waiting for our leader to come back. You know, Odom is hyper focused on starting a family and got a house and he's working and he misses VRChat and he misses the time that he used to have. So when he gets everything set back up, that, you know, he has his VR set up, he just doesn't have the time or the strength. You know.
Yeah, just gotta make sure, you know, his family and basically and if everything personal wise on his side is all set up and ready to go before he be able to, because that way he knows everything's secured. Because after all, he has like a new built house and everything.
Not to completely, you know, get too much into his personal life, but you know, Libid's still in Canada, so Libid's in Canada and she can't come down quite yet because the borders aren't open. But I mean, the way that we got to look at this too, and again, not to completely open up this can of worms, because it's not meant for other. Well, it's not even that, but it's not even meant for me to have a discussion about it because it's not anything.
No, I gotcha.
But obviously, we know that Owen and Libid are getting married, and currently they are making plans to hold this marriage next year. So, despite Corona happening and them trying to find togetherness, who knows when we'll see him? Who knows? But again, as Team Hope members, we're still gonna be there to support him, regardless if he's coming back or not. Because again, we're a group of friends before a group of streamers. So, in the case of him getting married, we're kind of planning that right now, rather than, you know, planning his return. We would rather see him happy without streaming than unhappy streaming.
To add upon to it, you're basically being very hopeful for him.
That's the pun at all. But I mean, that's kind of how we have to shape it.
Yeah, I get you. And also, don't worry about making puns or anything. Trust me, I make too many puns as it is, and I get like a pun sense from it, so I know when something's going to come up. So you're all good. And speaking of which, about being able to join on that team and everything, let's talk about Twitchcon, because I think I know which Twitchcon it was. It was like 2019, wasn't it, when that was happening? Because I was at the Connect party while you were DJing and everything, which also, I want to say one more time, thank you for basically pointing out that basically a car was about to basically get called in or so, because that was actually one of my friends' car, because they're the ones who they came from they came from Los Angeles all the way down to come visit us, and basically they drove us right to the Connect party with me and one other person. So yeah, I do thank you for that, for spotting that. So
sure.
But how was TwitchCon, by the way, for you? Like your personal experience and everything, because I do remember you were playing Magic the Gathering by the board too, like on the last day. I think that was Magic the Gathering, maybe Pokemon.
I don't remember, but you know, I gotta try to remember this story that I posted up on Twitter yesterday or the day before, because it's important to understand. 2018 TwitchCon was nerve-wracking because this was the first time that I kind of considered, you know, this was going to be kind of big, where I went to I think it was my first actual convention, or maybe not. I went to Anime Boston once, and that was cool, but this is the first time that I got to go and meet people that I never thought I'd be able to meet before. And 2018 was a very interesting time because, again, after being friends with Odom and Libid, this was the first time I got to meet them. However, Libid got sick throughout the entire weekend, so he was kind of there. They only came in for like one day. So, you know, being able to see them for that short period of time was just so surreal. And meeting other people in the community was just so fantastic. But it was nerve-wracking because, you know, nobody really, at the time, nobody recognized me as like Rob Roman or RobRomansVoice. Only a handful of people knew that. And, you know, I don't want to say I was paranoid, but I was also kind of like, so many people were talking about getting Airbnb, and I didn't know anybody, so I ended up just going and getting a car and getting hotels. I got hotels. I stayed in hotels, which, mind you, I'm a snorer, so like, sure, that works. So my first time to go, the first Kinetic party that I played at, again, I was really nervous because there were some really big people there that I got to meet Shinakami for the first time, and we had an experience. I met Burning Seas, and I met Morak, and Zeshin were there, and Phoenix, and the rest of the Team Kinetic. Buyu was there, and for those people that don't know who Buyu is, not only is he a drunk Asian boy that always streams on Twitch as a drunk Asian boy, but he has some very elaborate worlds in VRChat that are just so unique. And I just remember going there and seeing his image and his voice and seeing all of his merchandise and shit like that. And I started getting giggly, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's Buyu. So I was the guy in 2018 going up being like, oh my gosh, this HeavyDivider. Oh my gosh. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was freaking out. And I would play my music, and then people were dancing, and that's where that kind of clicked in. Yeah, so in 2019, that year, I was experiencing what I like to refer to as the VIP friend experience, where it got to the point where I was there, and I didn't have to move. You go to 2019, you go to Twitchcon, and you have the chalkboard, and the chalkboard is what I like to call the mirror. That's where a lot of people hang out, is at the mirror. I didn't have to go too far. I could stand in one spot, and then there would be tons of people going around saying hi or talking, hugging, or whatever. I didn't have to be too far away from anybody, because if I didn't know somebody, they probably know who I was, and that's so generous to say. The fact that I've been in this game for so long, and I've made my mark on the community has been just so outstanding. Plus, friggin' TwitchCon, I had a little entourage, which was my mods. My mods, they're not, some of them want to be in the spotlight, but a good majority of them don't. That's why we never see any mods in my chat, is because they don't really want that spotlight. They don't want to be the most well-known whatever. So that made me feel really fucking cool. I felt very generous to have regular friends that weren't entertainers. They were just average Joe people that love to hang out. I mean, and they want to make me look good, which is, that's, what else are you supposed to say? So 2019 TwitchCon, that was basically it, is that I had a little entourage of friends that we got to walk around, do whatever, have a good time. And I didn't have to worry about being alone, because there were a ton of people there that I knew, and a lot of people knew me. It wasn't even a matter of just taking pictures. It was just a matter of hanging out. Of course, you always say, man, I wish it took more pictures. But in the idea of VRChat, we don't take pictures of each other. Yeah. We hang out and we take pictures of our avatars. But I think a lot of people would rather do that than actually take pictures of their face themselves. Because, well, you're not going to go and show your face to begin with. You're just going to have your avatar around.
Yeah, that was... So, yeah, that was my idea when I went to TwitchCon 2019 and everything. Basically, I just wanted to meet people. I wanted to be able to get the chance to meet them in person, so I wasn't interested in taking pictures. I just wanted to basically, get to know them as a human being before anything else,
So where this leads up, and of course the Kinetic party was just such a it was such a legendary night, just because of the fact that you had a bunch of people. We fucking did it all: pizza, beer, lap dances, you name it, sweaty individuals grinding on each other. Such a good time. But we also had people that were trying to sneak into the party that we just didn't know. And in my eyes, that's worth every penny, because you got a bunch of people that we don't know and they're trying to sneak in. That must mean our party's really good. Which that's great too. And then I love the fact that everybody appreciates the work that I do, and that way I don't have to work too hard to please them. They're good with what I play, and that's an easy day for me. And the fact that I'm on Twitch and everybody wants me to DJ, I just play the same shit over and over again. That makes me happy, because I don't have to do so much work.
Yeah, there you go.
But to completely answer your question, I made a realization the other day that had to do with that party, and also throughout the entire weekend as well, because I got to actually meet some of my mods in the face and got to hang out in real life, which was really fucking cool. Was just that the other day I became friends with somebody in a community that mentioned to me that they were at the Team Kinetic party, but they didn't say hi, and they were a wallflower. They were a fly on the wall, and they wanted to be that way, where they didn't want to draw any attention. They didn't want to say hello to the people that they've watched, in I guess in fear of being either called out or, showing your face is a very private thing. Yeah. Especially in virtual reality, because that's the idea, is you're trying to escape reality by coming in here. And this individual happened to get married this past week, and even though there's drawings of them, they may have flawed themselves by not only showing their husband, but their husband's Twitter account, which also may have their face on it. So I had to write about it because there was a feeling that I received that I never got to experience in a while, or I haven't experienced in a while, which was actual physical identity. It's more exciting for me to meet someone that I've never seen their face, but I've only heard their voice. It's more exciting for me than it is for you to meet me. Mm-hmm. Because you know exactly what you're going to be expecting. The only thrill that you're going to have is actually seeing my skin and my bald head, and how thick I am, to how much you can hug, and how I smell, and how I, present myself.
I got you.
But you already know that. Yeah, you already know my face. So I ended up posting something on Twitter about how the fact that I just get so elated when I see I get to match the face with the voice, and actually physically see the happiness in their face. In VR, our faces are so grim, not grim, they're just so structured. Mm-hmm. There's no actual emotions besides whatever we do with our hands. So at TwitchCon, that's exactly it. The joke at TwitchCon was this: 2 weeks before TwitchCon in VRChat, everyone's gonna be like, "I'm gonna see you in 2 weeks. I'm gonna lick you, or I'm gonna touch that butt. I'm gonna pick you up and throw you around, or I'm gonna call you cute, or something."
Something like that.
Yeah, there's all these idle threats. And then when TwitchCon comes around, everyone's a puss, and nobody wants to do that. Mm-hmm. There had been an experience with someone that we know in our community that was, she's kind of openly sexual to the point where, like, oh, hey, we're gonna get drunk at TwitchCon and we're fool around, and she's like, oh my god, we're totally gonna do it. But then as soon as they meet in public, she's just like, Rob, I'm nervous. Can I stay at your place? Can I? It's just those moments, right? Yeah. Like sometimes it works for most people, sometimes it doesn't. For me, it's such a thrill, because now I get to take everything that I've learned from you and the next person, and not really start again, but take it and move it onto a new foundation. Because we've already built up a rapport in VRChat, and you can act a specific way in VRChat, but at TwitchCon it's something completely different. For a better lack of an example, is when this Lapel comes in, and he's a short little raccoon guy, or he's a red panda. He's a short little red panda in a suit. He's not taller than me, but he's a little shorter than I am, and he's he's kind of a stick. He's kind of a stick guy, and he wears glasses, kind of nerdy, but also very quiet. and like, you know, his the way that he delivers himself is I haven't hung out with a lot of people in real life in a while.
Yep.
Because you feel kind of the security in VR chat and virtual reality, you have your own security. But then when you go and hang out with people, you get to see how intimidating they are and how big they are and how they smell and all that sort of stuff. So, so we had to take that. Yeah, we had to take that friend knowledge of, you know, he knows what I look like and he knows how I act. And I know how he acts, but I get to put it on a new module and say, all right, we're finally going to be spending all this time together. Let's go. So I've just been overly thrilled, and that's what I love about Twitchcon, and that's what's actually getting me really tickled to go to Twitchcon Europe, if you have it, is I finally get an opportunity not only to travel, but I get to see the friends that I probably will never get to see if they had ever not come to San Diego, and then I get to actually put a face to the voice, and we get to make moments being regular people. And I get to determine whether or not you're a good person, you know, based off of these actions.
Oh, there you go.
And you know, and it's I know that last part was a little extreme, but that's kind of it, you know. Like, it's not like I'm gonna let people down, but it's just thrilling to me to be like, we're finally in reality, and we get to do fun things together, like right now. As opposed to looking through your friends list and saying, I'm afraid to go see a friend.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't be afraid to see a friend. If they're not gonna, let you in, that's a whole different thing. But when you're at TwitchCon and you see someone there, you're like, I'm going up to them. You know, that's it. That's the real reality of it. So out of everything that you get to experience at TwitchCon, that's what gets me the most giddy, and it's also the most anxiety inducing to a lot of other people. But I promise that there will always be someone there that you're gonna look forward to, and you get to make moments for.
Yeah.
I just wish goddamn fucking pictures, you know, like that's the thing I didn't do enough, is take enough pictures. So
I mean, yeah, same here. For the most part, I will say again, I was just there for the memory of it, just kind of like the thing about it is you're trying to identify each person by their voice more than anything else, or try to look for their badge and everything, try to see who you can identify or so. And it was easy for me to identify and find you or so, just because I recognize your voice. It's distinguishable out of this or so. And we did have like a good brief talk or so, and we kind of like traded cards and everything, just because we were just there to be able to, one, get to know everybody, and two, also basically, you know, spread around and see what's going on here and there. Just try to get a little bit of influence out there. But overall sake or so, it was a really nice time, really, just to be able to see everybody here and there, and just be able to talk, you know, just be able to talk to anybody as best we can or so, get to know each everybody.
Every year when TwitchCon comes around, I'm getting more and more excited about it, just because even at TwitchCon 19, there were people that were a part of our community that came out and don't stream, but they wanted to come and see me, and they wanted to see the rest of the people that they support. And that, again, that blows my mind, because the people that stream on Twitch, technically, legally, they're not celebrities, you know. No, like, unless you've got a bajillion, like, you get your partnership and you have sponsors and you have like notoriety all around the world. It's hard to be that popular, you know what I mean? So like, if that's your goal, then sure, shoot for the stars, then be the biggest dick that you possibly can. But like, again, we're all together, even on Twitch or here, with the same style and mentality. You know, we all like games, and we all like hanging out. We all like contributing and just hanging out with each other and relating, being relatable. So I have people in my community come in, you know, I get to actually physically give them a hug and say thank you, you know. It's so hard, it's so dishonest of people. I see it a lot more than it's supposed to happen. But you have a lot of people that they'll get 5 subs, 1 sub or something, and kind of dismiss it And I'm like, fuck you, you know, like this is some guy's $5.
Yeah.
They're giving up $5 because they think you, they like you or they want to see you succeed.
Yeah, given generosity.
And the
of
fact
their
that they
time.
spent all this money, yeah, they spent all this money to fly and get a hotel or whatever and buy a ticket to come here just to see you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, friggin' show a little bit more gratitude, right?
Yeah.
You know, you would have had work a part-time job or a full-time job to earn that money, and they're just giving you this money. So, you know, like
right.
I was more excited to see my community than my mods.
No, I feel you.
Like they showed up, and I'm like, you know, cool. We can do stuff now. Like that's so exciting. Like, fuck yeah.
We can go out and finally eat somewhere and just be able to, you know, have conversations.
Hibachi.
Yeah, hibachi.
You can have a beer, and I can have a beer, and we can like have a moment, and that's cool. Great.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the next question I had was basically VRC memories after this, and then we were gonna get into different topics. But any memories come to your mind or so? Any funny memories, maybe happy memories of like old VRC in general, like when you first started, as you kind of like weird going to here and now, or so?
Oh, geez. I mean, not really funny memories. It's just every year I've been in this this simulation. Opportunities have gotten better and better and better. And it's I remind myself every day, and everyone in my Discord knows how stupid silly I feel, and it makes me like bubbly and giggly. And this year has been just such a delight because people are starting to like. Again, I did a commission for a girl named Rakshaw, and Rakshaw was like, I'm looking for these 2 songs at the beginning, one song somewhere in it, and the rest of it you can do. I'm gonna put it in my world. I said, sure. Next thing you know, you're listening to Rob Run's voice, made exclusively for the dysfunctional family, and there it is in the drinking night world. Lo and behold, when I go to the VRChat category on Twitch and I look at people hanging out in the drinking night world, I'm just like, I don't want to say anything, just whatever.
Yes.
If they notice that I'm here, then whatever, that's cool. But I get that all the time. I get that way too much more than anything else that I've ever done, and it's super thrilling. That mix has been in there for ages, and from my knowledge, Rakshaw isn't planning to change it anytime soon. Which is very exciting. Obviously, if she wants to change it, she'll let me know, and then I'll get to work. But that's just a sole commission again. But like, I always sound like a broken record, but it's only because I'm the most giddy and I'm the most excited. Despite actually performing four EDM festivals in VRChat this year, getting to meet Slushy and getting to meet some high tier people, Fia Bunny and Pro. I'm not really friends with Protostar yet, but we're getting there. Especially at the beginning of this year too, that I'm finally getting to know Zone and all Zone's work and Zoneton and getting to learn everybody on the Giggle Squee squad. And off the cuff, being a part of the Giggle Squee squad. I'm not like official, but
spending time with them.
I'm pretty. Yeah, I hang out with them all the time, and I really fucking love it. Like, getting that opportunity is just it's so heartwarming because this is actually a conversation I've had with Zone many times of being like, it really sucks to put your trust in something that you don't know if it's going to potentially fall apart.
Yeah. And
then when it does, after years and years of building up friendship, trust, having it all just break apart. And it's super annoying. It's disappointing. And what the worst part of it is trying to rebuild all that yet again. And these past couple of years, finding it in your heart and in your mindset to actually trust somebody, especially in VR, like someone that you may never meet,
Mm-hmm.
or you never met before. The trust is really difficult to actually, put down on paper.
Yeah, it is.
So the fact that you have this high profile individual, really trust you, and all I can do is support them. Like I talk about it way too much because I know I can't draw. I could try to draw, but I can't draw. And I can, and it's beautiful. Like I would love to buy the work. I'd love to give them. They deserve the money it takes for this trade, and the art that they do. It needs to be told. It needs to be shouted at the rooftops. I'll go ahead and promote them as long as I possibly can. And I'm not trying to benefit off of it. I'm just trying to get to know like-minded people and enjoy their company.
There you go.
I just started becoming friends with another musician named Creepy, and Creepy makes music. What's it called? It's not hardcore.
Is it like?
It's like something core.
Horrorcore?
It's really fast.
Something like it.
It's something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have albums. You can go listen to Creepy on Spotify. And they have over 111,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's a big number. That's nothing to sneeze at. And just the fact that they built up trust, and you cannot break that. If you try to break that, you are a fool. You're an asshole. You're terrible. You're terrible. You're disappointing. So I guess that's just it. It's not even of ridiculous moments. Obviously, my time on VRChat and on Twitch at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's plenty of moments that we've clipped, and a lot of funny moments, and Foxy fame, and I can't say I've been on VR Funny fame, but being friends with people that I didn't think I was going to be friends with, it's great. That's at the end of the day, I get to sleep happy that we get to share these moments, and they trust me enough. Like it's hard enough to trust people in regular day. So
yeah, no, I feel you on hand, and I will say, the thing I'm just gonna share with you too is that even if you have trust, if you don't want to put your trust in certain people on hand, at least if you can, always put your put a faith in them, or put belief in those who basically, if they're even if they aren't your personal friend on hand, that as a friend they're going to evolve into a personal friend. It just takes time on hand, but when it comes down to it, they're always going to find a way to be able to hang out with you, be able to talk with you, or be able to just try to get to know you, the person, more than anything else. It's a time building thing, but over time it will form that trust more than anything else. It just takes time.
Yeah, it does take it takes time, and it takes understanding and relatability. These are the trust factors that a lot of streamers throw out the window, especially with their chat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this right before the stream too, where I was just like, I can't imagine a world where people can stream content on Twitch and not say hello to the members, the people that are in the chat. Even if they're gifted subs and stuff, they just kind of brush it off, and I'm just like, oh wait, we're living in a world like that.
Yeah.
And you're those guys are missing out on plenty of opportunities unless they're trying to do some sort of reverse psychology moment where it's just well, the more you hate them, the more they're going to come back and donate. I highly doubt that's not going to work, but it's still, that throws me under the bus so hard that you got a bunch of people that are trying to come in and relate to you, and you're just saying, this game is more important than you are.
Yeah.
But everyone that's watching right now already knows that I see everybody in chat right now, but we're in the middle of an interview. So, haha. I can ignore all of you.
It's the same thing here. I have my chat right here. I'm keeping an eye on it, seeing how everybody's doing or so. Someone asked if we're going to get to questions on hand after the questions in general, because that way your chat can ask you questions as much my chat can ask you questions if there's anything.
Wait, your chat has questions for me?
Yeah. One person asked if we're ever going to get the questions on hand in general. That being one Senpai Supreme, but we're definitely going to get there once we get past the question on him. Yeah, because that way, it opens it up for everybody who's interested on what they want to talk to you about, or just want to know.
Sweet.
So, but
I'd be down.
Let me get down to the last few questions on hand. That being one is different topics. Basically, I think we already talked about this on hand since you gave your best explanation. But basically, I was going to ask about the VRChat Current Present. Like, when you first started with VRChat, like first day one, here we are now. What are some of the things you're glad that have been changed over time to some of the things you wish haven't been changed at all? Like, it could be like security, it could be like anything. I'm not going to say trend just because trends just come and go as they is, but anything like game wise or so.
Oh, I'll just say clicks. Clicks are bad. Yeah, clicks are bad, dude. Like, yeah, so many times. I don't want to say how many times in my life have I ever had to work my way up the ladder just to gain friendship. That is just, it's sad. That's what it is. Omega G and I were hanging out, we were hanging out in a pool world, and we were hanging out with two very popular VRChat streamers who had a bunch of collective people that I don't want to say S word because the S word is the S word, but a lot of people that would probably come onto VRChat to hang out with them to gain popularity and fame and maybe try friendships. But as a streamer, when you're trying to entertain, it's very hard to maintain friendships, while you're entertaining the masses. So we were like there, and we were watching them run around, and one of them, like every other group of words that came out of her mouth, she was singing them. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, she's running out of content. Oh, like, oh, that sucks. And like, I wasn't friends with them at the time. I still not. I don't know. I just never get a moment because I have a feeling that when she's on, she's on, but that's it. And then when she's off your chat, she's doing whatever. But like, I just sat there and I'm like, she's trying really hard. Like you could tell that the content was just, you shouldn't. No, you don't need to do that. You could just have a steady conversation and just do like-minded things and have a good time with it. Yeah. So, of course, back in the day, trying to gain friendships and whatever. There we go. Nice, comfy. I guess that's what I hated about this whole time is, it would be so difficult for someone so small to go up to someone so big and be scared to strike a conversation. I'll always give someone up 2 minutes, 5 minutes. If you come up to me and you're not a fucking goofball and you're not a memer who's looking to trash me, I'll give you a few minutes. Because who knows, that's how friendships are made. And unless you want to be that person that looks up to you and you have no friends afterwards, all you have is just you have a bag of jelly beans, looking up back at you while you're looking down on them, then all you're gonna have is just a bunch of jelly beans. You're not gonna actually have any friends to share your jelly beans with.
Yeah, definitely.
So no, I kind of even forgot the question, but
it was basically.
Yeah, I mean that was probably the worst experience out of everything.
Okay, worst experience out of that. No, I got you. I was gonna say, anything you looking forward towards to what they're gonna be doing with VRC, like any updates or anything they're trying to implement, or just like anything maybe a little bit better in the future.
I want to see more of the haptic suit.
The haptic suit.
I want to see more like virtual hugging. I want to see Ready Player One bodysuit. I want to see butt trackers and toe trackers and boob trackers, and I want to see all that. Because like I even heard on YouTube, like they were talking about a virtual reality headset that was mind controlled, so you didn't even have to like think about like where you're gonna go. Well, that's literally it. You just think about it and then you do it. Like I heard about it, I'm like, that's cool. Like it's cool enough that we have the technology for fingers and full body tracking and whatnot. But this year is hard enough to think about what is going to become virtual reality. I actually just saw this morning of a way in Blender to put in a plugin for your avatar to get wrinkles based off of the way that you move your mouth, and how like your cheeks can be pushed up, or squishy face is squishy, made of squish. So anytime you move, kind of like a dynamic bone kind of a thing, you would be able to see the squish. It'd be a little bit more realistic. It's like I'm really excited about that. I'm not excited about how expensive it's going to be though, because that's gonna this is all very expensive, and I think in my life it works out, but at the same time, for someone that's trying to learn about it, late 2019, early 2020 was really difficult because you had mass marketing big box companies that were trying to push virtual reality, freaking like the Nintendo Labo. Ooh, it's a piece of cardboard that you slip your phone into. Like, no, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all.
So that's why a lot of people were a little back and forth with the Oculus 2, because they're like, well, how can I have something like $300 worth of a virtual reality that's also wireless, runs off of Wi-Fi, and also needs to uphold a whole game from VR? How easily is that gonna break? We don't know. It's a lot better than the cardboard, though. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about where it's going to take us in here, and I'm also really excited about where my future is going to be headed. Last year was a really positive time in my life, because not only did we gain a brand new professional DJ console, but my frickin' people in chat who decided to spend their money on me to get a gold DJ console just out of the blue, spending tons of money on this gold DJ console. Now I got two. I have one just in case one breaks. I have the other, but the other one is it works on another piece of software that I own that I've never been able to use the one that I have. So thank you. But at the same time, like, now I have less room in my room right now. Like, I have maybe 2 steps forward that way and I'll hit it, and 1 step over here for my bed. I got no room. Where else am I supposed to put it? I'm just excited for this year. I'm excited for the enhancements that are coming. I know Valve's working on a new headset. I think it's going to be outstanding, and the technology of it all is going to be great. I'm still going to be upset when we get some more pissy people trying to come into this game being like, well, it's not optimized for my stupid PC. It's not optimized for blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, get better.
Man, that's the way the future goes with it. Where basically you have to kind of keep upgrading over time or so. And yeah, I know it's going to get heavy in funding, especially when like I also feel like when it comes to like the VR sets or basically in general, the price is going to like at least go a little bit higher each time or so, just because of how expensive the brand is or how expensive that piece of technology is. But it all depends. But we'll see as time goes along. Like the highest right now we have is like the Index was about like $1,000. So.
And we're still gonna be segregated when that happens, though, because of the fact that while you say you have an Oculus, there's still gonna be childish people here that are gonna say, well, I'm better than you because I have blah 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 blah. Which that shouldn't never ever be the case, just because of the fact that we're both here, and even though I have better sound quality and better mic and a better computer to let it run on, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm better than you. It's kind of like the same thing I talk about with Frost all the time, where or even Annoying Machine, where Annoying Machine's like, the 3000 series out, and I got myself a 3090, and then he gets the 3090, right? And then he installs the 3090, and it breaks. And he has to get it ARM-8, and I'm just like, well, what happened with your stupid technology that you spent like $16,000 on, or $1,600 on? Huh? What happened?
Oh, there you go. I feel like at the time, or as funny enough as Jeffy Bed once said, and it stuck with me, and especially those in my own chatter community. Basically, VRChat is the most expensive free game you can ever play. Most expensive free game, just because it requires a little bit more DLC from your side just to be able to access many different other features. But hey, I digress. It's best on what you want to do quality-wise and how you want to experience the game in general. You know, as time goes by, especially when it keeps upgrading.
You got a lot of influence on TikTok. You got a lot of influence on YouTube, on Instagram nowadays, that people want to come in and meet those guys. But what they realize is that, like, again, it's the same thing as Twitch disease. You get to see them in the new content that they come out with every day and every week and stuff like that. But then by the time you get in here, you realize how hard it is to make friends with them, even though you know a lot about them and they know nothing about you. Especially people that come in on desktop is, you know, they're all like, well, this place is so shitty, and it's just like, well, no one told you to be here. You be here if you want, but the people that have been in here, you probably will never ever understand or never ever meet. Especially even the VCAT people, the virtual market people. They come on here just to test. They come on here just to hang out. I highly doubt that they come in here for the fame and the notoriety. They just like building stuff because it's cool.
Yep.
You'll never see them in the spotlight, besides the fact that you'll probably see them in credits. And then you meet them and they're just like, yeah, we did that. Hooray. So there's no winning here.
Yeah.
You know, they come on and they hang out and stuff like that, and some of them will complain, so be it. But yeah.
But let me throw a curveball your way, because when I say curveball, it's because there's some people who do enjoy this topic on hand. There's some people who may not be too familiar with it or just not one of their interests. Let's talk about anime. Let's talk about anime here really quickly. So it's a three-part.
Yeah.
Yep. Let me ask you this. When I say let me say this. When I say anime, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say anime? Like, it could be any series.
Sailor Moon.
Well, there you go.
That's an anime.
That's an anime on hand. Alrighty. We're probably gonna get
Pokemon an anime.
Yeah, Pokemon's an anime. I was gonna say we can get through this quickly. I was gonna say if you need to. I mean, the next question to that is basically, what would be your favorite anime? What would be your favorite like anime series? Like any of you can name.
Okay, so before I started watching some of the newer stuff, the last actual like anime that I've ever watched was Bobobo. That was a long ass time ago. Back in college, I used to watch a show called Shin-Chan, and I fell in love with Shin-Chan throughout the entire freaking series. And I love Shin-Chan to the point where I want to go and buy the DVDs. But now, for the past 2-3 years, I've grown to love Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maids, and Miss Kobayashi is my waifu, if anybody wants to know. And I recently just started watching Demon Slayer, and I haven't really finished Demon Slayer, where I think we're up to like episode 16, 17 or something like that. Great show. Demon Slayer is pretty freaking great. One Punch, obviously I haven't seen season 2 of One Punch yet. I heard it's very disappointing. Other than that, I don't. Anime is hard because what someone may like, I might not. I know Mega G and I have an annoying machine. We've been watching DBZ Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai? Is that it?
Yeah.
Regular Kai.
Yeah, DBZ Kai, I think. Yeah.
Kai, not Cobra. That's Karate Kid. Yeah, Kai. DB's Kai, yeah. Cobra Kai. It's live action. Yeah. So we've been watching that, and like, I like it, but I don't have the attention span to marathon it. So I'll watch maybe like 8 episodes and then wait like a week, and then I'll come back to the 8 episodes. I can do that. Dragon Maids, I watched the entire freaking thing because that show is just hilarious.
Yeah.
And I tried to get into Boruto when Odin was a part of it, and I just didn't understand it. Back in the day, I loved a little bit of One Piece. One Piece was good, and I also own, if you want to call it an anime, or not, I own the entire books for Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I've seen those shows religiously. I love those shows.
Well, there you go. I was gonna say, trust me, there's a little bit of everything here and there, but when it comes to like certain stuff that you get a chance to watch, like Kobayashi Dragon Maid, it's a good one. Good comedy, a good comedy series, just good stuff in general, and just be able to have like good times in general, just to take all that in. Then that's the matter. That's all that counts. Especially if you don't have to be like a dedicated fan that watches like, say, every single episode of One Piece, just to catch up with like what's going on now. But last question to
Sergeant Frog was good too.
Sergeant Frog too as well. Last question to this. Last question to it is basically this: what is the anime that hit you close to home?
Wow. I mean, I'm bald, so One Punch. And let's take what's his name? Seisama, Yesama, something like that. Seisama. Let's take him for a very prime example, and I think I use the same stylistics as he does. Is you know, when it's his time to act, and it's his time to handle business. Saitama. Hold on. Saitama? I don't know how to say it. You guys know what I'm talking about. The one punch guy. Yeah. He you know, when it's his turn to handle the business, he will do it. No holds barred. He'll run in there, take care of business. That's it. Everything else is just like he's living his best life. And not only is he living his best life, but he's also like very minimal.
Yep.
He's very minimal, and he loves the small things in life. And I think that really shines on me as well. Is that I'm a big fan of the smaller things, and I don't need a lot of things to be happy. But the really small things, like for example, I ate at a restaurant a couple weeks ago that it was a piece of meat with carrots and mashed potatoes underneath it. And I ate the mashed potatoes and they were good. But the guy who made it put on a whole ton of chopped up green onion in it. And that is such a game changer. If you're looking to mix up your mashed potatoes, don't use a spice. Get yourself some freaking green onion, lightly chop it up, mix it up in there. That is a freaking like have yourself a time with that.
Yeah.
Because it was just so spicy. So you know, it's just the same thing with the dude. Is just like, you know, he'll go out and fight, or he'll go to work, or he'll do whatever. But he's quiet about it. You know, everyone's like, oh, I'm a big DJ guy. I don't know. I don't have as much skill as, you know, let's just say Scratch Bastard or like Jake Kilmore from Incubus or something. I do my best. And I think as long as someone really appreciates me doing my best, then I guess I'm doing my best. So
yeah, there you go.
I just think it's kind of fun.
And for some reason, when you were talking about this, the thing that popped in my head was One Punch Roman. For some reason, for you.
One Punch Roman.
One Punch Roman.
I'll make an avatar.
Make an avatar, yeah. One Punch version of stuff. So this gets down to the last question in general on hand. So let me do one quick thing. I'm going to move this camera right over to where you are, because that way you can easily just see it. But basically, I'm going to have you center stage on hand for the following question in general, and that's basically this. What is your goals and dreams? And at best, what is the best advice you can ever give to anybody else? I'm going to back up. I'm going to let you have the center stage for this.
Oh. My goals and dreams. And what aspirations I have for people? Obviously, I can always just talk about the two-tone mentality. Obviously, my goals and dreams are just to continue doing what I do and find people that enjoy it. I was explaining to someone this morning how I don't need a relationship to be loved, and when I say that you know, do whatever makes you happy, and then you've earned all of your riches and stuff like that.
As long as it shouldn't matter what the other persons have to say about it, as long as what you do makes you happy. And what I mean that is, like, don't be pressured into trends, I guess. If you're happy with what you have, you can make that your own trend. You don't need to take anybody else's trends of it. But with the two-tone army mentality, the best way I can explain this is the reason why I wear checkerboard is because the music is unified. The type of music that Scob delivers is unified. It's a unification of British punk and Jamaican reggae. The white coming from the punk, the black coming from the reggae. And back in the day of much oppression, whatever you want to call it, it was a way to fight against the government and a way to be rebellious without military arms. And it was not only a way to deliver your message peacefully, but it was also a way to unify segregation, because of the fact, I think, still at the time too, whites and colored people were treated differently. So it was an opportunity for the two types, whites, coloreds, to get together and join in unity over the things that they hate. And that sounds really funny, but it's kind of cool, right? The checkerboard symbol it's infinite. You can get it as big or as small as you possibly want, but it is an equal collaboration between two different worlds for one purpose. So if there was any other wise words about, especially during the pandemic when we're so separated, it shouldn't matter about the color of your skin. It shouldn't matter about how much money or fame or what's it called? Hold on, let me try to remember the words. The words are something like you don't need no member to let yourself in. You don't need no age, color, or skin. You don't need no money to make a contribution to be a part of the two-tone revolution. So I mean, that's what I'll say. Is it shouldn't matter based off of ladder, famous, fame, or the people that you know, but give everybody like 5 minutes. Give them 5 minutes, and give everyone a little piece of your time, and then just be happy with what you have, man. Be happy, do good, and don't be a dick. I guess that's really it. I don't know. I mean, I've kind of said my piece.
No, you're good. You're all good on hand. So now we can finally get down to the questions in general here. I will say I have one question on my side, and if anybody in Rob's chat right now have any questions for him, please go ahead and let him know right away. But a question I have for me is one from someone by the name of Emerald Miner 76, asking, if you have the power to stop time and live life with a memory without aging, would it be cool to have that power?
Would it be cool to have that power?
Yeah.
Hold on. If I had the power to stop time and aging?
It was stop time and live life with a memory without aging.
Live life of a memory without aging.
Yep.
Probably not. I think the memories that you have, the good ones, the really good ones, will stay up forever, and you can always close your eyes and revisit them.
Mm-hmm.
Memories are kind of like going back to high school after a certain anniversary. So, like, let's just say you graduate high school and it's the greatest thing on the planet. You're like, oh my gosh, thank God I'm out of school, onto my real life.
I guarantee you're gonna come back to that school like 10 years down the road, and you're gonna be like, damn, this place is small. These chairs are small. The desks are small. I don't remember the lockers being this small. I don't remember anything being this small. And the memory that you had, it won't be like jumbled, but it'll be locked in. So after you see that, you're just like, I don't remember it like this today, but I do remember what it was like at the moment. And the only two examples that I can give you are, if I were to have locked time back in middle school when I had hair, and I was able to spike my hair, because I used to, and it was great. I actually had enough hair that I could spray paint it green. I will say I would probably go back to that time just for that, but I also know that I was very awkwardly sexual, because going through puberty, you did a lot of weird things to understand your sexuality, and I don't want to relive those moments, because a lot of it was very, very kiddish. It was very like it's embarrassing, but at my age you could have dismissed it and said, all right, whatever, that's fine. So there's that. And also the night that I learned that music changed my life. I went back to the same venue that made me think the way that I do with the two-tone army thing. I went back there for a wedding, and I had a flashback of at that night. We ended up going to Boston Market, and we ordered 4 rotisserie chickens. We ate them in the closet, in the coat room. We ate it in the coat room during the show. It's like they were giving out these chickens. They were gonna throw chickens, so we bought these chickens. But I remember going in there for a wedding, and I was just like, it locked it in. It locked it. The place never changed. I was there not for that purpose, but I do remember exactly at where I was standing and what I was doing and what was happening at time. So it kind of it locked that memory into place, and I could never get it out of my head anymore. And those are the memories I want to hold on to. If I were to use that mentality of like holding back to knowledge, it would only be if I were to gain dementia, and in my older years when I'm a potato.
I get you.
Obviously that'd be the best time, but I don't know. I mean, that's how memories work, man.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not the matter of you missing it. It's like Twitchcon, it's like, I mean, we've got pictures, and do I really want to go back to Twitchcon? Probably not. And there was a lot of weird things that happened there, but at the same time, those memories stick with me forever, and I'm all set. We're moving on to greater things.
You got your own picture book of everything, where basically you could just think back to certain moments, some of the classic times on hand, and not only that, just be able to like take in everything that you got a chance to experience for the first time, including going all the way to your first convention on hand. Just be able to go there, taking the sights, like being like in San Diego, place nobody has I have never been to. I'm pretty sure it was your first time ever being there too. Just be able to take in the sights and sounds of everything.
Yeah.
All right, does anybody got any more questions for Rob here? Any questions at all? I might have a question for myself on hand. I do have a question for my personal thing on hand, but I will say for the most part on hand, with how you've said everything, for being very blunt and everything, and for basically saying as it, even if you spot anything that seems out of the ordinary, you're able to say it on hand. Is it mostly like influenced for you through like somebody else, or just something that you've always been like that, where basically if there's something wrong, you're going to point out something's wrong, or basically when it comes to like anything that bothers you, you're able to project and say it out for the most part?
You mean my feelings?
Well, yeah. Well, I was gonna say your feelings, but basically, because keep in mind, it's weird because people's personalities are usually pieces from other people's personalities that basically form together, become your own personality. And I'm just wondering if there's ever been like somebody in your life that's influenced you to kind of like be the way you want to be, or just be able to say what you see more than anything else. Because usually there's like that person like in your life that they may have rubbed off on you, and then basically you have their a little bit of their mannerisms, their a little bit of their attitude, or maybe a little bit of how they act here and there. Could be like a certain keyword you always say. It could be something like some sort of trait in general or so. Because it's weird how it works, like how each personality works in general.
In radio we do that. That's how you gain a personality in radio, is everyone that you interact with, you have to take a piece of them. And in radio I used sharp wit from this guy Adam Rivers, who was my boss, and he was a coworker, and he's been through the whole journey. So I've been using his sharp wit, and the guy EJ, who he works on the KISS branded program down in Texas, and EJ's got this really smooth neighborhood friendly guy, night jock kind of talk to him. And I pulled both of those, and I merged it together in what I do on the radio. And the two big inspirations, again, everybody draws, rubs off on everybody to gain that mentality. And what's stupid funny is that, like, when I'm streaming, a lot of people in my chat are the exact same way. Is that the way that I handle business? They like and they try to mimic. And what's funny to them is when you put it in real life. Yeah, my chat's here, so it's like
no, you're good.
When I talk to them,
I got you.
Yeah. They do it in real life, and it works. It works for them. It's in ska music and Jamaican culture, it's called being a rude boy. The rude boy technology, technique, or what it is. It's being rude. And I'll give you an example, and then I will share with you the two inspirations that led up to this.
Okay.
So back in the day, I forgot what the band was called. Oh, it was called Inner Circle. The band was called Inner Circle, and back in the 90s, they wrote this song called let's see, it was called Sweat. The song was called Sweat. You probably have heard the song before.
I might have.
I've been watching you a la 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 long, a la 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 long, 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 long. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
Girl, I wanna make you sweat. Sweat till you don't sweat no more. So the whole song, if you don't know, it's about forcing yourself on a girl. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what the lyrics are.
Interesting.
Girl, I want to make you sweat. Sweat till you can't sweat no more. And if you cry out, I'm gonna push it some more.
Oh, that's not good.
This song is about sticking it in a girl.
Well, jeez.
So the rude mentality is literally that. Is when I was down in Jamaica in January 2019. Or no, it was 2020. January 2020, last year. I was in Jamaica for I was working for iHeartRadio, and they needed me to go down there to work.
Okay.
They were referring to the butt as the bumper.
Bumper.
So when they were, yeah, like a bumper, like a car bumper.
Ah, gotcha.
So when you were down there and you were shaking your butt, and the people that were at the hotel were shaking their butts. They'd be like, "Go girl, shake your bumper, shake it, shake bumper, bumper." And so, like, the people that were shaking their butts, like, they didn't care. But the guy, you couldn't really tell if he was being honest or not. He was just like, "Girl, if you want to shake your butt, do it. Heck yeah, go for it." And rude boys get a little bit worse.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I'm not gonna go out on record to say all the nasty things that they could possibly. But, like, just the fact that this dude that was, like, working as a counselor at this resort was, like, looking at this, like, 60-year-old woman's bumper, like, freaking, like, girl, you're turning me on, kind of like, go shake your ass, like.
Good lord.
Yeah, you're sitting there like, this guy's on the clock, and, like, he wants all this. So I love that, like, straightforward mentality. And the two people that have inspired me just thinking about it today when I was working my first full-time job,
Mhm.
I worked with this man called, his name was Neil Brossidafaro. Okay, his last name Brossidafaro, really long name. And he was this overweight man, still is, but he gained diabetes and he lost his legs. Which is still pretty funny. But he was this like round roly-poly Italian man that he has his daughter's like 12, 13, 14 years old, and she is just a freaking mom trap. She'll run around and she's not entirely sure what she wants to do. She likes anime, she likes reporting like her father does, but he'll call out her bullshit because she's just empty-minded. He'll look at her and just be like, you're like, don't be an idiot. You know, like, I can't believe you're, you know, just really calm. He's so honest and so straightforward. And because he's such a round, fat Italian man, it's hard to, like, keep him serious too much, even though he is being awfully serious. So when I remember just looking at him, like, I'll be talking about a show and he'll be doing the news, and then after the news, I'll tell him something stupid that happened on the news. He'll do like the regular weather, the town officials are doing this, town officials are doing that, and then I'll be like, all right, Neil, well, I got a new story here for you. I just heard yesterday that someone broke the donut eating record of 6 dozen donuts in under 2 minutes. And he'll turn to me and he'll be like, that's a lot of donuts. He'll be like, you're kind of an idiot for eating all those donuts. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're very. He's like, I wouldn't want to know the person who can eat those donuts. You know, like, so his straightforward mentality on that was just like, you know, I'll be like, hey, you want a donut? And he's like, no, absolutely not. You know, like something like that.
How dare you?
Yeah, the way that he would do it like that, the way he would jokes, just so atrocious and funny. So I tag team that, like my personality from that, off of how Zone handles things. And I know I keep bringing up Zone like a freaking super fan, and you're right, I am. But here you have an individual who has been creating tentacle hentai for a good chunk of their entire career, including in the age of Newgrounds. But they have a very uncanny way of being sexual and funny about it, but not being completely serious about it. You know, like they'll talk about like, hey, I drew this Teen Titan thing where Starfire and Raven get plugged by tentacle monster hentai tentacle things, and there's ink everywhere. And boy, you didn't see that one coming, did you? You know, like, haha. Or like just recently they just released a video about receiving Anka on Animal Crossing and how long it took. But now that Anka's on the island, she gets to bone whoever she wants to bone. So she ended up boning the villager. And Zone made a video about Anka getting it on with the villager. And a lot of it, people are like, "Oh, that's gross! Like, oh, you got a human fucking a cat, an Egyptian cat, and it's a cartoon." No, but that's not all. That's not what it's all about. It's all about how outrageous that is, and it's supposed to be like, not a joke, but it's supposed to be like, you know, you don't have to be completely you don't have to be completely sexy all the time. You don't have to be lewd all the time, but you gotta have fun with your lewd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, if you're I don't know, if you're running in here, like every so often I forgot. Oh, like every so often I'll watch like Thor-chan, right? And Thor-chan, and we'll get like some kid that comes into chat and just goes, boobs. Like for real, like of course you can see the boobs. They're right there. Like, that's part of the joke. Is the boobs are so big it takes up all of the screen. Like, you don't need to come into chat to tell me that you're looking at the boobs. Everyone's looking at the boobs. Like, don't. That's part of it. You know?
I mean, because internet's got their
So-
own sense of humor, like, no matter what. Like, even if we share the exact same thing that makes us funnier or so, there may be some stuff out there that people find also funny here and there or so. Everybody's got their own different sense of humor. Same thing with the internet, so, you know, anything could be funny. In some way,
Like being a part of the Giggle Squee and all those knuckleheads is it's been such a freaking delight, because the way that they talk about loot stuff it doesn't sound like we're all getting together for a gangbang. That's not it. It's someone made art. It's silly. It's like a piece of toast, boobs on it. Like, that's ridiculous. Why would there be boobs on a piece of toast? Like, it's hot. Don't get me wrong. You know, the boobs look good, but like, it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
fu- it's
we're
funny,
supposed to have
yeah.
a good time with it.
yeah, just kind of visualizing
Yeah,
what
and
you're
I think
looking
a
at
lot
here.
of- Yeah, so when it comes to my mentality and things and being straightforward, I also take a page from the SpongeBob episode where they're learning the 7 sailor words and how they're sentence enhancers. So whenever you swear, that you're enhancing your sentence, and it's supposed to be spicy in your tongue. So I use that mentality as well. So you have the straightforwardness of this Italian man who's given up hope, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of like Ralph Macchio, or not Ralph Macchio. Yeah, like and then have the lewdness that Zone brings, but at the end of the day, it's just meant to be satirical a little bit.
Yeah.
A little outrageous and a little, you know, sure, it's hot, but
But it's something to
Supposed to be
look at. It's something to look at and laugh at just because of how ridiculous it looks. But you at least get the laugh out of it, so you understand the humor. But
yeah.
I guess one last question for right now, and then we can call it. But here's the last question being, if you ever get a chance to go to, okay, this is from the same person being Emerald Miner 76, basically, if you ever get a chance to go to another planet for the experience, like a field trip, would you do it? And consider the fact I know you explore a lot and you like to travel here and there, I wouldn't be surprised if you would, if there was the option for it.
I'm excited if Elon Musk makes it to Mars, and I'm be extremely excited if if all plans are correct, that Mars could be a new self-sustaining planet. I think that'd be really freaking cool. You got a lot of nerds that have been to the moon, and there's not really anything exciting happening on the moon, despite the fact that it's just chilling there. But I would like to think that before 2030, we could potentially find life on Mars. I think it would be populated with cat girls. No.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Someone said populated with well, cat
I
girls
mean-
on Mars.
You never know.
But yeah, I mean, as far as if we were people have you leave the science to the scientists. You got the explorers that go to the cosmos to do that work, because I don't know how to, and because they know more information about all that sort of stuff, and the way that they're saying that Mars can be a little bit more self-sustaining than Earth, and it could be, or there was another red planet. I don't think it was Mars, but there was another red planet that was almost as equal as Earth. It's the fact that it had red soil rather than our regular brown, dirty soil. What if if Elon Musk decides, we could potentially go to outer space? Mind you, there might be more casualties, because not everybody can handle that gravitational pull and the G-forces that would probably provide. But one can only imagine. If we were to take our bodies and put it on a planet and have a second civilization that we can coexist with, you know what I mean? Ooh.
No, definitely. It would be interesting to see how that turns out on hand. And I'm looking forward to it, but it's also going to be, there's a process to it for how long it'll take to get to it. But once it gets to it, at least we could say we've seen it in our own times, so.
Yo, 2033 would be pretty dope, though, not gonna lie.
Pretty dope on hand. And with that in mind and everything, I'm pretty much going to go ahead and say that will be episode 34 of Shoot the Breeze.